we go. All right, so Addison and Carson, we are coming up on the end of, I guess, 4 sessions together. So what was your absolute biggest challenge prior to our marriage coaching together? And this may be an individual answer, it may be a collective answer, but what was your biggest challenge prior to marriage coaching?
I think collectively for us was communication, finding ways to, with our opposite work schedules, when, with her working at night, trying to find that time where we could kind of come together and communicate. I think that was kind of the biggest one, at least for both of us.
Yeah.
I think individually was probably learning to kind of open up more and not keep things so bottled in, and kind of release some of that anxiety and pressure and stress that I've had kind of weighing on me, and being able to open up more and let her take some of that off my plate.
Yeah, and I agree with all that. I just feel like asking for help and communicating more, even if it's just little things, has really gone a long way with us. And it's just been minor changes, but like you said, baby steps, and I have seen improvement along the way.
Good. So how did that challenge make you feel? Looking back, I mean, it's a short period of time, but how did that challenge make you feel?
I mean, now looking back, it's we feel blessed that we have seen improvement. I mean, in the moment, it's probably been at times a little, we've had to be disciplined and patient, just with the process, and trusting in that, and just kind of like repetition, setting it into practice, and taking it a day at a time, and seeing what we've learned in our day-to-day lives.
I think for me, it's taken a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but it's taken a lot of disappointment, I guess, out of like our day-to-day stuff, where it turns from disappointment into, even if it's just something little, turns it into, wow, that made my whole day. And it's not that big of a deal, really, in the grand scheme of things, but the fact that we can kind of make these tiny little changes and then kind of realize it, that, hey, take a second and stop. Hey, this is what we did. It wasn't that big of a deal. And look how we feel afterwards. We're not disappointed about anything, or we're not stressed about it or annoyed or whatever, but we kind of take a second to realize what we did, even if it was something small, and kind of feel good about ourselves that, hey, we're doing it.
Yeah, and it's not like any of the changes we've made have brought us upset. It's only been positive.
Good. What specifics would you say that have changed?
For him, I feel like his openness with me, just kind of like not holding everything in, and I mean, I know we've been saying our communication, but more specifically, just instead of bottling things up and letting it go until one of us bursts, we've been saying things in the moment. I know, really focusing on our tones, changing not, how we communicate as well. I don't know, that's pretty much.
I would say getting stuff on the calendar.
Yeah, that too.
It took us kind of a while to do that, but
yeah.
I think after our last meeting, we actually sat down and scheduled the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Like, okay, 2 weeks from now, date night Friday, or 4 weeks from now, date nights on Tuesday, or, sitting down with her schedule, because not every, it's not consistent schedule every week. So you really have to sit down, and I think that was something that we stuck to, and we did those date nights, and it turned out to be fun experiences for us, and kind of like, wow, we should kind of do this more often.
Well, in the beginning, I feel like we were like, oh, we don't need to set, write this down.
We're too stubborn about it, I think, to not actually writing it down. Like, we can do it.
But I remember that session. It was probably the first one, and then the third one, I guess. Something switched in y'all.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely did. That third one, I think, was probably
Yeah.
the best one, where we actually left it where it's like, okay, let's stop trying to think that we can just kind of be stubborn about it and remember to do it, and let's actually write stuff down.
Mm.
Let's like put it on a calendar. That way we won't remember, it's set in stone, and we have to do it. Like there's no excuse to not do it.
Yeah. And that's something, hopefully we just keep doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just going to be, we're making priority for us instead of letting our busy schedules come before that.
Right.
Carson, what would you say, and I'm asking specifically from a male perspective of our time together, your investment in this. One, because maybe I could be off, but I'm probably not off. At the beginning, I could tell you were a little bit hesitant about this whole thing. But now your demeanor, your affect, your general appearance, you're just filled with a sense of joy or life about you.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to guys, men, about this investment this time?
I would say that don't be afraid to open up. Really, I mean, it's tough. I don't like opening up, and that's not who I am. But if you can kind of try and pull some of that stuff out that you're usually kind of hold down inside of you, that whether it's small annoyances or big annoyances or whatever it is, the fact that you can kind of pull that out of you and then use you, Lance, as sort of kind of an intermediary between you and your wife or girlfriend or whatever to kind of bridge that gap. I think that made a huge difference for me.
Cool. Addison, what would you say about maybe from your perspective? Anything else you would add? For people really who are on the fence about a coaching relationship.
Yeah, so I know that I had been on the fence probably, over a year, just going back and forth, like we can work on this ourselves and things will get better. We don't need, we don't need help. We're fine. Then I guess it just came to a point where I was like, okay, nothing's changing and we can't do this on our own. And not that things were in a terrible place, but I just wanted better for us. Mm-hmm. I just feel like accepting that as the first step, and then being okay with reaching out for help. And it's not like this has been a terrible process. If anything, it's just made it so much better for our marriage. So it's all been worth it, and I'm just very glad that we went through this and through this journey, and we've learned a lot of great things. And not only that, just hearing from someone who has been married for a long time, like yourself, and tips that you have for people who haven't been married as long or together as long has just been really helpful and insightful for us. So, nothing but positive things. It's been really helpful, and I've seen changes in him, and I hope you've seen changes in me, and I think that it's been a success.
Good. Thank you all for letting me go on the journey with y'all. Would you add any closing statement?
I would say it was very helpful for us, like she said, we didn't really know where to start, kind of thing, where it's like, you roll a snowball down a hill, it gets bigger and bigger. And sometimes we just need help, forming that first snowball and trying to get that first kick. Yeah. And later on down a marriage, it'll keep growing and growing and growing. But we needed help getting that first little kick on kind of, this is how you do things. This is how you change things. This is how you can work on things.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.